Welcome everyone to the Overtime Champions Season 5. Tonight, we're going to be seeing a great matchup between Microsoft Excelsior versus Yurp Squad in the North America PC Division B. These are the aspiring, slower division, but they're aspiring to greatness. This is Group A. So tonight's casting squad is Kella is going to be doing a great job refereeing this. Clutch Key is going to be doing play-by-play. Bryce T is our color/analyst, and I am your humble host out of the swamps tonight after wrestling some alligators. Cajun Wise Guy. Everyone, how are we doing tonight?
We are doing wonderful here. Again, we are in the Division B as we welcome you here to round 2 of the Season 5 gameplay here for, again, Division B between Microsoft Excelsior and Yurp Squad. My name is Clutch Key on your play-by-play. Joining us here for the color is Bryce T. What's up, my man?
Clutch, I'm doing fine. Second game of the evening, still going strong. More than excited to see what these teams are going to bring onto the field. Definitely going to be a little different pace, but, you know, exciting nonetheless. I love watching Yurp Squad play, and Microsoft XL I haven't seen play yet, so I'm always excited to see new things.
And so we saw earlier, we were playing earlier, we had Making Plays versus Syndicate, a very exciting matchup, but now we move on to our next map. Microsoft Excelsior versus Yurp Squad, and the first map here in the 3-map set is going to be Ilios, and this is first off, my favorite of the 3 maps here on Ilios so far because it provides a lot of environmental kills. So what do we expect here?
Oh, you're definitely going to be seeing a lot of Orisa Hogs, Fares, Lucios, extremely popular picks on a lot of these control maps, especially Ilios, Sanctum on Nepal. All these maps have that, as you were saying, the possibility of environmental kills, and those are so fun to watch because it's soul crushing when it happens to you. But from the caster's box, everything just you're looking at it through rose tint glasses. It's funny to watch it happen. Hate it when it happens to you, but we are going to be seeing the possibility of booping coming from BSO, again, subject to change. It's bad luck to call these things, before the match officially starts off, as I say that. But the possibility for those to happen is still, in their back pockets.
And so now we're going to take a look at, again, you're going to take a look at the teams here as we prepare to attack in the final 5 seconds. And again, you can't really say anything until they come out of the battleships. But right now, it looks like we're going to have that Roadhog Orisa combo coming out from Microsoft Excelsior. Yurp Squad, on the other hand, going to run pretty similar to a dive comp here, except where they have the Tracer from Pepto, at least. Tempest and Pele are going to be running the Reinhardt and Deeper respectively. And then Viso on the Farron. And we saw Yurp Squad was the champions of their division back in Season 4, and now it's just going to come down to whether or not they can show up their championship ring here. But Microsoft Excelsior are looking to push up the point, and they're doing so. They're doing so right now.
Exactly. Season 4, not too long ago, but a lot in this league in OTC has changed already, and that's going to change up a lot of what Yurp Squad is going to be able to bring to the field. But right now, they're pulling ahead. 3 picks in their corner. They have the point. 2% on the clock already. Microsoft Excelsior is, sort of running into a wall at the moment, not able to really get much utility out of the comp that they're running. It's Paul should be shutting down that pharmacy, but not doing the best job that he can right now.
And so now it's going to just be a question of if Microsoft Excelsior can take down the Season 4 champions of Yurp Squad, because right now the Yurp Squad winning that championship, you and I witnessed that game, and that was a very well-played game on both sides of Solar and Yurp Squad in the finals, but Yurp Squad pulls out in a 3-2 victory in their game. But now we're in the Season 5 group stage, so this is the way to show up here with the rules changing now with the group stage, and you can see already Yurp Squad doesn't even care about it. Tempest has 3 of the last 5 kills with that Reinhardt, and they're pretty much going to wipe out the entire team. Athena calls, team kill, and that is it for Microsoft Excelsior. So halfway already, and Yurp Squad has all the answers. 5 ultimates compared to nothing on Excelsior's side.
Exactly. One of the most satisfying noises to hear in Overwatch is that bell. Commander Hugh getting that kill. 6 ults on the field for Yurp Squad. This is their fight to lose right up here as Microsoft Excelsior is pushing onto the point.
Trying to push onto the point right now. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it here. And it's going to be, and it looks like Commander is going to get the kill on Tempest. That's going to be inside the wall. Self-destruct is going to come into the background for Yurp Squad. That's going to get Carboy over there, so no chances of resin or heals coming up, but the Transcendence is here to save some face on the side for Mithra rather. Rocket Rush comes out for Commander, gets 1, gets 2, and it's Paw. I don't know if that's a glitch or not, but it's Paw gets the kill on Pele's mech. You can see a rocket barrage there instead of the Deadeye kill, but it's going to be Pepto coming out with 2 kills on Commander and its Paw. So it's going to be the win for Yurp Squad so far. 94% on the way. Question is, can anybody from Excelsior get there? It is going to be in time as Mithra gets there. Force overtime. Excuse me, with the Lucio. So now it's just a matter of which one can win the stagger. Here comes Viso with that Pharah. And Mithra's going to be there to take Viso down right away. So it's just a matter of push and shove at this point. Deadeye's going to come out from its spawn. Not going to get anybody there. So it's going to be Microsoft Excelsior trying to win. Commander's got 2 kills on Pepto and Tempest. Make out a T-Mech as well on Pele. So it's going to work out so far. Artie's got the kill on Kevin Supreme. And it's looking good for Microsoft Excelsior. 99%. The only one left to go is ZJC on this point right now. And it's going to be Microsoft Excelsior flipping the point in overtime. But Yurp Squad has 99%, so Excelsior, no time, no mistakes. They got to hold us all the way.
Exactly. You know, what we're seeing at the beginning of this round especially, Microsoft Excelsior, they were advancing in a staggered state, even when they were already on the field. But once they finally broke down and stuck together, that gave Commander Hugh the ability to be the one to separate from the team, as opposed to Delicious on that Orisa. But switching to the Reinhardt Hog is definitely working out well in Excelsior's favor. But we're seeing 2 explosions coming out from Yurp Squad, not getting any utility though from those ults.
But Yurp Squad's still winning the battle so far. Artie's going to get the hook on Tempest, so that's a huge kill. Not going to be able to res if you're the Mercy there, so that's a huge pick. And Artie's going to get the whole hog kill on in the middle of the well, so Artie's got 2 kills in the middle. Bad news, they're not paying attention to the point right now. And this baby diva from Pele is going to be able to take at least, or maybe a centimeter away from getting it, and they do get it. But right now, Yurp Squad in command. Kevin's going to try and get the kill. Oh, Artie, last second hook. Biso's going to be able to knock him off though, so no chance of the rest. Biso's going to bring out the rocket barrage in the meantime. Gets Delicious and Mithra, as well as the kill on Carboy. And that's going to be it. Yurp Squad wins the battle here 100 to 45% on the well. So it was Biso to end the fight there. They've got it 1-0 here on Ilios right now. 1 win away from winning the match.
You know, Biso definitely showing up with that Pharah, getting 4 kills on that last push. Insane plays. Microsoft Excelsior is definitely gonna have to figure out, okay, we need to start running a comp that is going to shut down that Pharah. That is the first area that they need to start focusing on. But once they can shut down Biso on that Pharah, they're going to be able to really push through Yurp Squad's main line. They showed that they are able to do that already. We are getting a pause on the field, so that's going to give us a little time to break down that first push. Cajun, what do you have to...
Yeah, you pretty much hit on the nail on the head here, is that Yurp Squad with Biso working the Pharah is causing no end of problems for Microsoft Excelsior. And they, to the point where they Microsoft went over to a mirror comp just to say, hey, look, if you can't beat them, let's join them, and started working Yurp Squad kind of the same way. Because Yurp Squad, let's face it, wasn't doing a lot against Microsoft's Pharah either. But Biso on the Pharah and critically Tempest on Rhine was doing a lot of work there, really giving a lot of solidity to the front line, allowing Biso to kind of rotate around. And Microsoft really found itself a lot of susceptible to a lot of the environmental issues that we see on the well. So different map. I think this is going to be a much closer match now.
So our second map here is the Lighthouse, so we'll save, if it gets there, we will save the Ruins for last, but it's going to be Microsoft Excelsior that needs the point to take it to the Ruins. Yurp Squad, all they need to do, win it here, and they've got the map win in the first of 3 map series. And already you can see the shot, the Pharmacy combo working out, but only Pharah coming in, and Biso's going to get the first shot, and Commander Hui. So it's going to be the win here for Yurp Squad, at least in the air battle. Now the ground battle is the question. Artie's going to stick on the Roadhog here, and Delicious moves on over to the Reinhardt. So a very interesting team found here. And Tempest and Biso are going to try and end the fight already, but it's just a push and shove at this point. And right now it looks like the team from Excelsior is going to win this fight. Right now, actually, Pepto's going to end it. Delicious gets, and Artie gets the hook on Biso. Isn't enough, though. Pepto gets the kill on Artie all by himself, as well as ZJC on the point. It's going to be enough. Yurp Squad gets the first strike here on the Lighthouse.
Exactly. You know, we're seeing its paw switching off to the McCree onto the Soldier. a lot of, two players that we're seeing on Microsoft Excelsior's team right now, they're able to heal themselves, which is going to put a lot less pressure and stress on their healers. They're going to be able to focus more on the tank line and their back line. Carboy's definitely going to be able to fly around with Commander Q on that Pharah. That pharmacy's really going to work well, but Pepto knocking Mithra out of the fight already. They're down and off support, so now it's going to come down to Carboy. If he can get that resin, they're going to be in a good position. If not, this push is gonna not gonna work well for them.
And so right now it's actually Yurp squad winning the fight. 4 kills already in the kill feed compared to Excelsior's 3. So it's right now, but it's still gonna be Yurp squad winning the point. And actually they're gonna push them back all the way onto maybe their side of play as Kevin's gonna get the res on Tempest. So right now Yurp squad winning the pushing battle. Question is, can Excelsior push them back?
Exactly. No, we're just about to hit 50% on the point for Yurp squad. We've seen Microsoft Excelsior able to get onto the point, even when it's down to the wire, down into overtime. They're going in with enough ults to really get usage, onto this point, but they are running into 5 ults on Yurp squad, and Yurp squad has already shown that they are extremely good at communicating what ults are going to be put down and who's going to be using their ults to start the fight. Carboy throwing that Valken, as well as Delicious knocking out a First Shatter.
Delicious gonna bring down the hammer, but it's not gonna really get anyone. And now Yurp squad has the advantage. 6 ults for Yurp squad to hold him off. And really nothing being used so far. Commander, who's gonna get the first rocket barrage, and now it's gonna be Mithra using that transcendence. But again, no ults being used other than Pepto using that pulse bomb. Now the rocket barrage is gonna come out for Biso here. It's gonna get Carboy in the background, and this is gonna be ult advantage again for Yurp squad. Excelsior 95%. Excelsior not gonna be able to get there. Oh, somebody does get there, and that's gonna be Commander Hui on the tracer. Forces overtime, but nobody's gonna get there. We're not gonna see the ruins. We're gonna see Yurp squad winning this map on Ilios 2-0 as we head into the next map. So Yurp squad showing up. Microsoft Excelsior needs to find an answer.
Exactly. When it came down to that last push, as you brought up, Yurp squad only needed to dedicate 3 ults to hold that point against the ults that Microsoft Excelsior is using. And as you can see, as you were mentioning earlier, Yurp squad was definitely taking a lot more advantage of the environmental kills than Microsoft Excelsior. Biso, this was the 4 kill that we saw Biso getting at the tail end of that push on Well. Just, again, really need to start focusing on the healers and the DPS on Yurp squad, because that is also what helped them extremely well in the Season 4 finals.
And so before we start our next map, for the second map afterwards, we're gonna bring in our producer / analyst Cajun. So 100-0 on the Lighthouse. What did you see?
Well, I was hoping that Microsoft would make this a little bit closer, but they still can recover. How do you recover? Again, what we saw is the Pharah for Yurp squad is the win condition for Microsoft Excelsior. So going to the Soldier was not a bad idea and concept, but the positioning of the Soldier was not advantageous to that role. He wasn't on the high ground. He wasn't putting pressure on the Pharah. You have continuous damage, so I get it. The Pharah's pocket, it's going to make it difficult for you, but you have to start zoning her out. You got to start putting some pressure. You're not going for the kill, but make it so that you're aware that, hey, Pharah, you just can't run into the easy shots and just dump free damage into us. You have to start putting some pressure on them. And as Soldier, you're right. You took pressure off the healers, but you had to do something more with it. So Microsoft, still the win condition is Biso for me. And I'd be running either. We have to really commit, as Microsoft Excelsior, really have to commit to the death ball, where we're just going to win the ground fight, and we're just going to, fine. One single Pharah is not going to capture the point or beat us if we win the ground fight. Or you have to break out the Widow. You have to break out. And if the Soldier is not, your Soldier is not able to sustain a 40-45% hit accuracy, then you got to go Kree. You got to go burst damage. You got to go the Widow. You got to go McCree. You got to break out the Zenyatta, get a Discord on the Pharah. You've got to stop Biso. End of the line. That's what they need to do.
All right, so our second map now is going to be Watch Point Gibraltar, and we're going to see if the teams are ready to play here. But Watch Point Gibraltar, our next map here, and this and for those of you just joining us here for Season 5, this is no longer, it is 3 maps, but it is no longer a best of 3. So even if Yurp Squad were to win this map right here, it's not over because we would play Kings Row after this. But in order to try and tie the series here, try and take this to game, as we would supposedly say, take this to game 3, Microsoft Excelsior really needs to show up against Yurp Squad. And it's really hard because Yurp Squad, coming out of a Season 4 championship, they have the momentum going into Season 5, and now Excelsior has to fight back the momentum, and now Gibraltar may be the answer that they need. So we'll see if the teams are ready to go. So what do you expect from both teams coming in?
So hopefully what we're going to be seeing out of Excelsior is they're going to be running dive. And what we saw was Delicious and Artie. They're running tanks, but they were running a Ryan and Hog, and that can work well enough to a point. But what they started to sort of get stuck into the routine of is just running into a wall and banging their heads up against it and just wondering why things aren't going to go their way and not really doing much to change it up. What I would like to see is Artie not focusing solely on the Hog. He's playing it well enough and working well with the rest of his team, but if we can see a diva on Microsoft Excelsior's side, that's even if as Cajun was talking about earlier, even if it's not enough to knock Biso out of the sky entirely, it's enough to put pressure on that Pharah, enough that Yurp Squad is going to have to start playing a little less aggressive because that Pharah is not going to have as much aerial superiority as they would want. If we can at least see a little more dive on Microsoft Excelsior's side, then this map is going to go a lot more into their favor as more than it was on Ilios.
All right, so now we're going to see coming up here again, Watchpoint Gibraltar, the island of Gibraltar. We've said this before, a very popular map to either ban or to pick because there's lots of strategies that are involved here, especially when you have the open to closed corridors in the first point, closed corridors in the second, and then the third point, very open-like. So it's going to be interesting to see what these teams pick. But again, Yurp Squad wins the last map 2-0, a very impressive 100-0 in that final lighthouse mode. And now we're going to see them attack first here on Gibraltar, so we're going to see if the momentum carries over. So Excelsior needs to find an answer here. 60 seconds on the clock here for the prepare to defensive phase. Let's take a look at their team comps. You're going to see pretty standard team comp. At least you're going to have Commander Hui playing that Widowmaker as well as Artie on the Hanzo, so the double sniper combo coming out. Then you have Delicious and Its Paw. They're going to have the Diva and Winston combo coming out, so a little bit of a dive on both sides. Mithra and Carboy pretty much bringing out the standard healers of Zenyatta as well as that Mercy. So what does that say for Excelsior right now?
Well, it shows that they're at least trying to react to, be a little more proactive in their changes. They're changing around their line a little bit more. Artie is off of the off-tank position, and Its Paw is now on that off-tank position, off of the hit scan roll. We now have Commander Huey off of the Pharah and onto the Widowmaker, which is a call that Cajun had made. Putting a lot of pressure on that Pharah. They're definitely going to be looking more to try and shut that down. But Biso is off of that Pharah, so now they're going to be trying a little. It's going to be a little bit more different than what they were expecting to run into, and I think that's exactly what Yurp Squad was trying to do.
Alright, so now we're going to see the fight come out, and already Pepto winning the battle of the Widowmaker, and also Biso winning the battle of the Zenyatta, you could say Zenyatta's another sniper if you want to call it that. But Carboy's going to get the res up on Commander Hui, and that is going to be, I think Yurp Squad's pretty much going to win this. Commander Hui right back at Pepto, though, after the res from Carboy, so it's just a battle of the Widowmakers at this point, and it's going to be pretty much equal. And as we said before, Widowmaker starts off the battle, you get the right picks, you've won the fight, and right now it's not looking good on either side. Only one pick on each side so far, and now the payload's going to get around turn number 1, gets around the corner, or gets underneath, and it's going to come up the hill for turn number 2. Question is, now the Dragon Strike actually comes off from Artie, so that's going to be the first ult already, and is that going to be enough to get anybody? The answer is no. And it's going to be the fight underneath, and right now it's going to be Microsoft Excelsior winning the fight. 3 kills on the T-Mech right now, and it's going to look good. Microsoft Excelsior has themselves a first good defense as Carboy rests up Artie.
Something that is also interesting to note is right now Yurp Squad is not running Mercy, which is one of the first games this season already that we've seen that there hasn't been a Mercy on the field for this first push. And at the moment, Yurp Squad is a little bit struggling to try and go up against this new comp that Microsoft Excelsior is running, and they don't have that res utility that Microsoft Excelsior has, and so far Carboy has been able to use that fairly well. Myth are knocking Tempest out, so now they don't have their main tank, and they're gonna struggle to get the healing output as well as Microsoft Excelsior. But that Dragons from Kevin Supreme is coming out at the beginning of this push, as well as that Nano.
And a very rare pick, actually. Commander Hui gets the pick on Pep, though. So that's a huge Widowmaker kill. It's Paw's also going to get the self-destruct kill on Kevin Supreme as well. And the payload not moving any further than it will already. And it's Paw's going to leave the game. So that is a pause on our side. I believe that's just a disconnect. But again, Microsoft Excelsior showing up. The Widowmaker battle being won dominantly right now by Commander Hui after a 1-for-1 pick. Gets the pick on a Tracer, which is something you usually don't see that Widowmaker pick on, because the Tracer's so mobile that, you know, Widowmaker can't keep up. But that's a great pick from Commander Hui, and that's giving them momentum right now.
Exactly. And now that we're seeing the the roles being switched around a little bit more on Microsoft Excelsior, I think we're starting to see the roles that they're more comfortable in. They're as far as I know, they're a new team this season, and as first seasons go, it's a little daunting when you're going up against, especially when you're going up against the season 4 champions. But so far, 1:55 on the clock. They're just about an eighth of the way from capturing this point. But right now on the field already, Microsoft Excelsior is in the advantageous position. They have the ult advantage, and as unfortunate as a disconnect is Paul was just able to get his self-destruct off, and as that baby diva, you're really just waiting and counting down the clock until you can get back into your mech, and is already spawning in his mech. So as far as disconnects go, that was probably the best person on the map to get that disconnect.
And so now, again, like you said, that Diva coming back into play. So this is going to be Microsoft Excelsior on the attack, really, even though they're on the defense. They're looking good so far as Yurp Squad's being pushed back. Now, Pepto's going to try his hand at the point. Mix it up just a little bit, but the good news here for Yurp Squad, or for Microsoft Excelsior, is that point hasn't moved yet. Now the self-destruct comes up in the background. That's going to be from Isbal. That's going to come out from Pele, rather, and that's not going to be in getting anyone. So Yurp Squad coming out swinging, see if they can get anybody right now. Transcendence is going to be popped out from Mithra, save his team some kills, and right now it's going to be Isbal getting 2 kills. So maybe that disconnect did give them an advantage so far, as Isbal gets 2 of the last 3 kills for the team from Excelsior. Now with a minute left to go, Athena signals that there's not much time left for the Yurp Squad. Now they're going to bring out the Dragons coming down the middle, not going to get anybody there. And Commander Hui really winning the sniper battle, takes down Kevin Supreme, and this is going to be a win for Microsoft Excelsior again. So a very different team than we saw back on Ilios, and Yurp Squad just has no answers.
Exactly, and all that they have going into this next push, they have we're about to get the 30-second timer going down. We have an Earth Shatter and a Nano going in for Yurp Squad. You can combo those really well together, but they are running into a Primal Rage and Dragons. Tempest is knocked out by Artie already. 20 seconds is not a lot of time, especially when you don't have a res. They have to really contest until they can get Tempest back in, because that Earth Shatter is really going to work wonders for them if they can get any utility out of it.
Nano Booster is going to come in right away. That's going to be on Pele. See if they can get anything going with this Diva. Trying to do some damage. Yurp Squad looking good so far. DJT, 2 out of the last 3 kills on the Ana. With the Ana so far, Transcendence is going to get popped out here by Biso. And that is going to be a good push, and that's going to be enough for Yurp Squad to push back to Excelsior. So they're going to have another 2.5 on the clock here to push into the second point, and they're already pushing far.
And it was a smart play by Artie right there, but it was just a couple seconds too late. He threw out the sonar arrow, was trying to get a cheeky Dragons to try and wipe out most of Yurp Squad. Wasn't able to get the utility out of it, but now they have 2 minutes just over. Oh, that's a nice self-destruct by Pele, knocking out both healers. That's going to give Yurp Squad a lot of room to push up, because now they're running up against a team that has no healers, forcing their entire team to move back as they're pushing up pretty aggressively.
Artie gets the arrow on ZGC, the Sonic arrow, really. That's going to get them to know where everybody is at the same time, does get the kill. So you always love to see those kinds of kills, get the ability kill that usually is just for radar. But see if that comes in. Self-destruct comes in the background, not going to get anybody there for its pause. So right now this is going to be advantage for Yurp Squad. Artie with 2 kills, D-Mech as well as the kill on Pele. And again, the Sonic arrow coming in. And a Storm Arrow coming in as well. And that's going to be enough for Microsoft Excelsior. Even when the Earth Shatter comes in, gets 4 people. and the pulse bomb on from Pepto's going to go on its paw, but is that enough? That answer is no. Commander Hui again taking down Pepto, so Pepto's really going to worry about this Widowmaker from Commander Hui right now, and Microsoft Excelsior with another good defensive hold.
Yeah, you know, Pepto's just been having a really rough time. He's getting he's getting sticks on a lot of his pulse bombs, but unfortunately, because of that nerf to her to Tracer's pulse bomb, it only does about 200 damage, which is not enough to take down a fully healed tank, which is where he's getting a lot of his sticks on. If he could just get it on one of the squishies on Microsoft Excelsior's side, then he would have a lot better time at it. But ZJC is knocked out of the fight. They're down to one healer. But Biso is popping that trance, but already has that Dragon's going out on the point.
And Dragon's going to come right down the middle, not really going to get anything here. So advantage Microsoft Excelsior. Carboy just gets the rest in time before Tempest swings the hammer at him. And so it's still Delicious going down, but right now Tempest coming out, swinging the hammer away, really winning the battle for Yurp Squad right now. D-Max its paw as well. Commander Hui with this Widowmaker very deadly right now. Getting the picks that they need, takes down Biso before ZJC is able to take down Commander Hui. So right now this payload's going to move even further. Question is anybody going to be able to defend it? Its paw's right there to try their best to hold on to it, and it's enough because Carboy's right there along with the Valkyrie on Delicious to hold off as long as he can. And now the self-destruction is going to come right down the middle. No more heals for Delicious. That is going to be it. Pelle's going to get back in the mech. So this is the battle for the second point. Merc Shatter, 3 people going down. And now the self-destruct is going to get Kevin Supreme in the background as well as the D-Mac on Pele. And now it's going to be a battle of wits and strength here. And it's going to be the battle won by Microsoft Excelsior. Biso does take down Commander Hui, but it's not enough as Mithra avenges Commander. And that will be in Microsoft Excelsior with a good defensive hold in overtime. And now 1 point and a lot of ways to go for the second point for Microsoft Excelsior ties this one up at 1.
This is definitely a different team than we were just watching on Ilios. You know, holding just under a meter, 0.6 meters, and Yurp Squad would have had that next point, but they were able to hold out for such a long time. And it definitely does come down to the changes that they made to the roles that they were playing on their roster right now. Artie is off of that off tank, getting exceptional usage out of Hanzo, as you're saying before, getting kills with even the sonar arrow. Coming down to, you know, its paw on that Diva, really working well to peel back and support their healers. And Commander Hui, that Widowmaker is definitely setting the stage for a lot of these pushes from Yurp Squad. And at the moment, you know, Yurp Squad is struggling to counter this new, you know, composition that they're running up against. But you know, Biso and switching back onto the DPS role, and Pepto back onto that Hanzo. Maybe that's the switch that they needed to counteract both Artie and Commander Hui, because you know when you're running double snipers, especially with dive tanks, it works really well, especially if you're shutting down the other team's snipers.
Yeah, from my perspective, Microsoft made good adjustments. No doubt there. But Yurp made worse adjustments. They went away from the Mercy. They went away from what they knew was working, which was the Pharah. Why they did, I'm not sure. But to me, that coupled with Microsoft's adjustments really limited their success here. So now we see, hey, they now have a Mercy back in play. And, you know, there's more traditional dive for the defense. So we'll see how this works out.
See how this works out here. It's going to be Microsoft Excelsior with an open door. 1 point at 79.98 meters to win it here on the island of Gibraltar. We'll see if that comes out with the victory. Already, Microsoft Excelsior trying to get up. ZJC is going to D-Max its paw as well as gets the kill on its paw right now. You can see the double sniper combo from Commander Hui and Artie staying here for Microsoft Excelsior. We'll see if that works out in their favor. The payload moves around turn number 1, and it's going to get at least in the underneath part. Now the question is Yurp Squad going to be able to back up, or are they going to play more aggressively? Pepto bringing out the Hanzo is going to be working right now, as he's got a lot of kills going for him, already halfway to the ults. You can see already they're just defending the point, not even letting that go uphill. And Yurp Squad with the first good defensive hold, 45 seconds in.
Exactly, and as Cajun was saying, it's now looking like Yurp Squad is the one who made the right changes. Commander Hui's off of that Widowmaker onto that Pharah, which is definitely a good pick because they're not running into a hit scan. Already getting a pick on Tempest, but Biso knocking Delicious out. So now both teams are without a main tank, and it's going to come down to who can get the res off.
Carboy's going to be able to get that res on Delicious. In the meantime, self-destruct comes right down. And that's not going to get anybody from Pele, so he's going to get it back in the mech. But it does go at the point for a little while. Now the question is, how much damage can each team deal? And it looks like it's going to be Artie taking down CJC, so there's Hanzo working out in their favor so far before Pele takes down Artie. And right now it's just a battle of wits and strength here. Itfall's going to get DMAC'd by the hands of Pepto, so again, this Pepto already getting his ult with that Dragon Strike, as well as CJC and Kevin both having ults as well, respectively, with the Transcendence and Valkyrie. And so we're going to see if either team uses it. The answer's no, but halfway down the clock already, Microsoft Excelsior not having an answer for Yurp Squad right now.
Exactly, you know, both support ults on the side of Yurp Squads. The healers are definitely being a lot more proactive, with the, countering the damage that Excelsior is throwing out. Commander Hui on the far was definitely a smart choice, but ZJC has just been shutting down its Paul this entire round already, and that is a very bad sign when you're running a D.Va. That should 100% be the opposite way around. But now, Microsoft Excelsior has all 6 ults. This is their push to lose. 1 minute and 35 seconds on the clock. They need to coordinate who's gonna pop what ult, what they're gonna start, who's gonna pop in a response to what Yurp Squad is throwing out. Dragon's being thrown out already at the beginning of this push.
And it's not going to be successful either. Now the self-destruct comes out as well. Actually, pretty much everybody, 4 people using their ults so far on the side of Microsoft Excelsior. Only 2 left, Transcendence and Valkyrie going to be left. Transcendence is going to be used by Mithra as Cardboard gets the rest on Artie so far, but this is looking good for Yurp Squad here. They've got 3 ults to use, now 2 because Tempest goes down. Dragon's just going to come right down to the middle of the point. That's going to maybe get at least 1. That's not the answer though. Pepto does take down Commander Hui. In the background though, 1 ult left to go, which is down. That's going to be Cardboard's Valkyrie here with 1 minute left to go. And it's Pepto and ZJC, call him what you will. I would say ZJC is another sniper at this point because he's taking out its paw as well as Mithra. And so ZJC, and like you said, taking down the D.Va and its ball, having no answers whatsoever. 40 seconds left to go. Microsoft Excelsior has to find a win here.
All 5 ults being dedicated to that, or 5 ults being dedicated to that push. Cardboard holding onto that Valk. That was not a smart push by Excelsior, and now they're going to be playing catch-up. They're running into Yurp Squad, who now has the exact opposite. They have 5 ults going into this, and they are, so far showing up Excelsior when it comes to coordinating these ults. But Commander Hui knocking Tempest out. That is the no more main tank for Yurp Squad.
Pulsemon's going to come out, does take down Cardboard, so no chances of runs. More heals coming up here for the team from Excelsior, and Pepto again going off here with this Hanzo. It is working for them. Bezos on the Tracer now, trying to get some kills on Mithra. That's pretty much going to be it here for the team from Microsoft Excelsior. Dragon's final charge to try, and that's going to be it. Yurp Squad holds on to the island of Watchpoint Gibraltar, at least winning the series here, and wins the island again of Gibraltar 1-0.
Like I was saying, that was Excelsior's point or push to lose, and it'd be interesting to look into the comms of Excelsior's when they were going through that push, when they dedicated so many ults. They threw 2 ults on the high ground alone, which is not a smart choice because all Yurp Squad has to do is jump down and they go below that arch and they are in cover. They are far away from that self-destruct and from that barrage. If they had managed to hold on to those a little bit longer and just pushed Yurp Squad off the high ground, they could have really funneled them into a choke in that, on that low ground where that payload was, and they would have gotten a lot more utility out of that. But they dedicated so many ults in such a little time and didn't get any utility out of the ults. It wasn't until after the fact that they were able to really even the score. But then Yurp Squad came back, they built up all 5 of their ults, and then really didn't need to use most of them to finally hold that point.
And so we're gonna, before we go into our final map of King's Row here, we'll bring our producer / analyst Cajun Wise, guys. So second round didn't go too well for Microsoft Excelsior. What did you see?
No, it did not. As been mentioned earlier, okay, so they're rolling into their big team fight, right? That's going to capture them this first point. And it looks like a team that miscommunicated. You wanted to open with Valk and damage boost, right? Your team is already fully healed. Open with Valk and damage boost, okay? Go for some just regular picks that way. And then you start layering in the Pharah ult. You start layering in the other ults. And the Rhine ult to get those mid-fight kills. But that's not what Microsoft did. It's like they panicked and just pressed Q, and they all went. And they all went at the wrong location. Not only was it the wrong time, it was the wrong location. And they got virtually no benefit from it. And Europe was just able to, they just said, well, fine, we're going to respect your ults, and gave up space, and then just came back with all their ults and were able to easily hold first point. So going into this next match, Microsoft has to fix that problem. They have to fix their team communication, that when you're committing to a fight, you're up 6 ults, it doesn't mean you're going to guarantee win. You have to do it in a certain order. Who's going to go first? Who's going to be hitting the mid ones? The DPS, you guys are free agents, but you have to wait until, the mid fight before you start doing this. It came down to not only ultimate mismanagement, but target priority mismanagement. It was just like they were just throwing anything that was in their area without knocking out, getting Yurp's key players out of places they could really take advantage of their ults. So Microsoft's got some work here, but they can do it. We've seen this. We've seen them win some team fights. We know that they can match up mechanically within the team fights, but the strategic side of Overwatch is where Yurp is just dominating them right now. So they've got to make some adjustments and start taking advantage of the player potential that Microsoft Excelsior has. Back to you guys.
All right, so now we're going to wait. I guess we're going to wait for one more player from Microsoft Excelsior side before we get started. But again, the series is not over yet. For those of you just joining us, we welcome you to Division B here for the NAPC Season 5 Division Group stages here between Microsoft and Excelsior, Microsoft Excelsior and Yurp Squad. Let's take a look at the recap so far. Yurp Squad in the first map of Ilios in the 3-map set series. Yurp Squad wins on Ilios 2-0, and then Watch Point Gibraltar, they may have only gotten 1 point and a couple of meters, but that was enough because Yurp Squad full held Excelsior, winning the island of Gibraltar 1-0. And now we head into the final map here, Kings Row. So this is going to be interesting because, again, the series isn't over yet. Even if it's a 3-map set series, just because you've won 2 doesn't mean that you still haven't lost or just because you've lost the series 2-0 doesn't mean you've completely lost. You can still save some face if you win the third map.
Exactly. As you were saying before, you can save some face. And when it comes down to the way that OTC is running now, every single map matters. And that's why we're playing through all 3 maps. It's no longer the best of 5. You have to, these point differentials matter when we're starting to get down to playoffs. And, it comes down to, okay, well, we didn't do great in the open season, but now we have the point differential that puts us, above the team that we are matched with when it comes to wins and losses.
All right, so now we're going to see if Microsoft Excelsior is ready to go. I think they're just waiting. Yurp Squad is ready to play. Oh, I think one person disconnected, actually. And it looks like Red Panda is going. So a sub here for Microsoft Excelsior could be huge because it looks like Red Panda is going to come into the game, subbing out for Mithra. And this could be the change that they need because we know that one sub can make the difference. And so now we're going to enter Watch Point we already did Watch Point Gibraltar. Now we're going to enter Kings Row. I'm sorry. We're going from the island to the nation of the UK here. And Kings Row is a very popular map like it was back in our first seasons. It's either a very popular map to ban or a very popular map to pick. So why is that?
Well, because, a lot of what you can see on Kings Row is the variety of gameplay and style that you're seeing from these teams. A lot of teams, they have different styles. They have different levels of aggressiveness. They have, some teams, when they have extremely well communication, they can get a lot more usage out of this main choke than other teams. And what we've seen a lot of is teams aren't just going straight through this choke and just barreling straight through the point. If they're running a death ball, that's what you want to do. Or if you want to, especially in what we were seeing earlier today, we were watching a lot of, styles of gameplay that I haven't seen personally. You were seeing Syndicate in our pro league or semi-pro league, sorry, they were all crowding up and crouching up together inside this hotel and just waiting for the team, waiting for making plays to just crash the point, and then they were running straight out from the tight corridor and just ambushing and putting so much pressure on the team that they were playing up against that they weren't able to really react to it, and they managed to keep that up the entire time. And that type of play is rewarded, as well as going through this choke and going to the right, going up those stairs, and then either jumping across and taking the high ground away from the defenders or just crashing the point from that high ground. You know, the name of the game in Overwatch is just subverting the defenders' expectations. You want to really throw them through a loop, because the second that they're allowed to get set up and get set in their ways and put their foot down, that's the second that the attackers will have to try so much more. But now we're seeing, you know, slightly similar comps to what we're seeing on Ilios from Microsoft Excel. We're seeing Artie back on that offtank and Itspot on that DPS. And he's really going to have to focus on Pele.
All right, so we're going to see already Artie takes down Pele, and this is going to be interesting to see, because you never usually see a Reinhardt Roadhog combo. You used to see like Reinhardt Diva or Reinhardt whatever else, but this is usually not a case that you see, but it's trying to work in Excelsior's favor, and Artie's making it work so far as he's got 2 kills.
And you know, unlucky positioning by ZJC right there, knocked out a Zenyatta away from his team, is just it's a recipe for disaster on your team. No movement abilities, and you know, as squishy as a squishy can be, 150 HP with just mostly shields, that's a bad time. But Commander Hui is knocked out by Kevin Supreme, already making up for that by knocking Biso out. So now Yurp Squad doesn't have a main healer, but they're still going to keep pushing this point.
So we're going to see if Yurp Squad can come out here pushing, as they do have the chance on the attack. And right now, again, the kill feed being light up, but you can see a lot of the red side of Yurp Squad being on the left side. Athena, best noise in the game for a team. Athena calls a team kill, and that is it for Microsoft Excelsior's defense. A minute, 15 seconds in. Big Ben strikes 4. Yurp Squad has the payload moving.
Yeah, 5 minutes on the clock for Yurp Squad. That is a very healthy time bank that they see. Already knocking ZJC, you know, punishing that aggressiveness, but he does have that trans. They are set up in a very good position, both support alts on Yurp Squads. Excelsior is holding up very aggressively right behind this choke. Already has his whole hog as well as Commander Kui with that Riptire, so they're going to be looking for advantageous positions to try and poke ZJC to knock that trans off. Kevin Supreme, Yurp Squad's getting really close to that Dragon Surge, so they're going to be looking to use that on this next fight. Hepto just getting that Graviton Surge, but Commander Kui knocking Kevin Supreme, so not going to be able to use that ult in this next fight.
So we're going to see already the Riptire comes out, gets a kill, but it's not going to be enough. Now the Earth Shatter comes in. That's 3 people in the background. That's huge. Tempest is going to be able to push. Transcendence is going to be popped off here by Red Panda, but it's not going to be in time. Hepto and Tempest pretty much pushing this entire team of Microsoft Excelsior back, so the payload has even more space to move, and Excelsior just cannot find an answer. That phone right now is ringing on the dial tone while Yurp Squad's just talking and yapping away at finding the answer to all 3 points.
You know, we were talking a lot earlier about Biso on that Pharah, but these last 2 maps, it's really been ZJC on that Zenyatta, and that's really something that Microsoft Excelsior needs to shut down. Dragon Surge coming in, getting 3 pieces.
3 pieces. Pepto gets 1 of them. Kevin Supreme with the other 2 on Artie and Delicious, so that's 2 tanks down. And Tempest coming in to sweep up house with a fire strike on Red Panda, as well as the swing of the hammer on Commander Hui. So this is going to be another point for Yurp Squad. Add another minute and a half on the clock. Second point is there. It's 5 minutes to strike for point number 3.
You know, Reinhardt's Rocket Hammer has multiple uses, breaking down shields, sweeping up the rest of the other team that they're going up against. Tempest is really just utilizing that hammer to its full potential.
So now we're going to see pretty much Yurp Squad, if they can push it all the way to 5 minutes, and this would be impressive enough. You're looking at a chance here to get it over 4 minutes on time, and that's pretty impressive enough. Delicious going to try and stop him, though. 3 people go down by the hands of Delicious Earth Shatter. The follow-up may be there, but we'll see how it goes. Kevin Supreme goes down with the hook on Artie, and that's going to be it. Pepto is going to back up, so a first good defensive hold, but Microsoft Excelsior, but it may be too little too late here. 4:20 left to go on the clock, and Yurp Squad looking good. 2 out, 3 people on fire on their side.
Exactly. You know, Artie has that whole hog still. Really looking for a chance to use that. 4 minutes on the clock now, just dialing, you know, working down. But Yurp Squad is still in the advantageous position. Justice running down from Pele as well as Trans.
But Commander Hui is going to be right there to respond with a double kill on the Riptire and Biso and Pele. So that's huge. Dragon Strike's going to come right down in the middle of the payload, see if they can get anybody. That answer is no. Let's just get hit by it. No, that's going to be otherwise. But Yurp Squad not going to be able to push up on this payload even further. Does get around turn number 1, but the payload stops at turn number, or just before turn number 2. So again, that corner can be very hard to take if you don't have the right pieces. Right, Artie's going to get the kill on Pele, and that may very well be enough to push back Yurp Squad. So again, that melts off another minute and a half, and Microsoft Excelsior looking good here on turn number 1 defense.
Yeah, now we're seeing Pele's... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But we're seeing Pele switching onto the Tracer, which is a smart pick because now they're just trying to get past that front line because, as we're saying, it's a strange comp to see in the tank line, but already getting that hook, showing why he's playing that hog. He's, they're really solidifying that front line, which is interesting to see, but it's working out well in their favor. So Pele switching to that Tracer to try and get that flank. It's Paw knocking out that tactical fighter, trying to get some aim hacks in on the field, not getting much usage out of it, but really just using it to zone Yurp Squad out of the open.
So, and by the way, I was watching Artie for a little while during that team fight. Kudos to him. Those hooks were amazing from him, getting 2 kills. And now we're going to see Pepto come in. Home stretch comes in for the payload coming in, and this is going to be Yurp Squads to win. Commander Hui gets the rip tire on Viso. Artie's going to bring out the whole hog, but not before Pepto ends his reign right there. Final 3 meters, and nobody's going to be able to get there, which means Yurp Squad closes the door on Microsoft Excelsior a little bit. Kings Row, 3 points in the first round.
Exactly. What we're seeing right now is Yurp Squad's not starting, but they are reacting to the comp that they're running up against a lot better than Microsoft Excelsior is. When Pele was switching to that Tracer, that was a really smart pick in their favor, because if you can't break through that front line, you just need to go right around it. And that's why, again, Kings Row is such a popular map to either ban, watch, or play in, because it rewards out-of-the-box thinking. When you have that Tracer, there's so many, small alcoves that she's able to run through and around to get through the front line without, running straight through it.
So we're going to see ourselves here in some of the heroes phase, and we're going to see if what these teams can do here. 3 points for Yurp Squad coming in, and Microsoft Excelsior needs to tie up the game to even have a chance at avoiding a sweep here. So we're going to see if that does happen. But right now, we're trying to see if what the teams coming in here see their defense. So you're going to see Yurp Squad come out with their defensive strike. Pele's going to move on over to the Junkrat, and Pepto on the Zarya. Now we're taking a look at the attack. You can't see Microsoft Excelsior yet. That's the beauty of this game.
I think one of the strong things that Yurp Squad is really doing good, if you pay attention to Pepto on Zarya, putting in a ton of work on Zarya. She's high charged, 80, 90, 100% of the time, a large degree of these team fights. So Pepto, to me, is somewhat the MVP here for this Yurp Squad on this push. They were never really had a good answer for that Zarya. She had grabs so often she could just kind of threw them away as candy at the later parts of it. So yeah, Microsoft needs to be aware of that Zarya now.
3 points to try and tie it up here for Microsoft Excelsior to avoid a 3-0 sweep here on Kings Row. We're going to see if they can do it, because again, there's only 3 maps to play, and this is the final one. Final chance for Microsoft Excelsior to save some face. CJC already in the background of the Zenyatta, something you usually don't see, but the background Zenyatta gets the kill on Commander Hui. So that's any chance, or no chance. Oh, Carbar actually gets the res just in time. But again, CJC in this background, nobody's paying attention to him, and he's got another kill on its paw. So right now, our final Commander Hui finally notices him, but is that enough? The answer is no. And right now, Microsoft Excelsior pushed back all the way in the back to their gate. CJC, a very aggressive Zenyatta, especially from what we've seen lately. That's really something. It's very dangerous when you're playing with an aggressive Zenyatta, but so far they're showing that they can just protect him well enough. But trying to get that push onto the point, CJC's just still going off on his on Excelsior. And right now it is Microsoft Excelsior to win. They've got 2 people on this point rather, and now they're just pushing up already. They know that they've won the point, so Microsoft Excelsior gets at least the first hit. Question is if they're going to try to defend. The Yurp Squad is going to play back, and Microsoft Excelsior, or actually Dragon Strike's going to right down the middle, but it's not going to be enough, and it's going to be Microsoft Excelsior that strikes 4 on Big Ben, and they're going to be moving the payload with the first point. 5 minutes on the clock.
Exactly. Whether or not that alt dragon was to set the stage of whether to dictate that pushback or not, Kevin Stream is able to build up that dragons very quickly. A throwaway alt or not, he has time to build that up. Pepto is about 70% to that graviton, more than enough time for a competent Hanzo to build up that ult. As Commander Hui throws that out, knocks out Viso actually too.
That's a good kill on Viso. That's a huge kill, because no chances of res or build kills coming up for a while, because now Viso has to pretty much like, or Viso's, or it was Viso, right? Viso really has to move on from the third point to the second point, and that's already space enough. So the payload moves even further, and it's going to get around the first 2 turns. Now the question is the third and the fourth, if they can get it to the second point. It's looking good for them so far as Commander Hui gets the kill on Pepto. And this, again, this Roadhog from Artie, what more can you say about this Roadhog? Because he's been hitting insane hooks from distances I've never seen.
Exactly, you know, a lot of times when it seems to not really make sense why it works, is those are the times that it works the best. And we're seeing Valk out of Biso. Yurp Squad has ult advantage. If they can dedicate enough to this point, they might be able to hold it back. But Athena calling that Artie with the cheeky wave on Pepto, knocking him out of the fight. He does have Graviton, but Kevin Supreme has that Dragon, so they do have win condition going to this. 5 minutes and 6 seconds on the clock. It's going to come down to if Yurp Squad is able to hold this or not.
Again, a very different story than we saw back on their first try. Yurp Squad had themselves a little bit of a harder time around turn number 1. Microsoft Excelsior, no trouble at all around turns 1 and 2. Here comes the Graviton. I don't know if that was a Graviton Surge in question, but that is a Dragon Strike kill on Pele. Now the Graviton Surge. That's it, the entire team going. Dragon Strike comes right down the middle. Question is how many is that going to get for that Transcendence? It's beautiful from Red Panda holding on to the entire team. And now the whole hog comes out from Artie to try and push back anything Pepto's got. That's going to be enough. Commander Hui with a good snipe on the Reptile. So now we're in the home stretch here. Final try here. Microsoft Excelsior having the win on their side. 4 kills on the left, 4 appearances on the left side of the feed than the right. But now the question is, can the team from your squad hold on? Because the stagger is on, and that spawn room is right there for them to keep. They're going to keep moving around here. It's just a battle of wits and strength at this point. No ults to be used on either side. It's going to be Pepto with the final try on this point. ZJC playing the aggressive Zenyatta. See how long that holds out. Pepto's got the hook off the map. Goes Pepto. And the last try here, ZJC's going to try and hold on to it here. And again, the stagger is on. And right now it's going to be your squad trying to push and shove their way into this fight. And now the reinforcements come from Microsoft Excelsior. Here we go. Dragon Strike right down the middle. Kevin Supreme's got the kill on Commander Hui. And Artie, the only one left, almost pooped off the map. Gets the hook. Oh, but it's saved right away from Tempest. And it's going to be the pushback they need. So Yurp Squad wins the stagger battle. And Excelsior is going to have to back up.
You know, again, as I mentioned before, Yurp Squad is doing really well when it comes to switching up their comps. Whoever's making the calls on Yurp Squad definitely is putting in the work that they need to. Whoever called for the stall comp, the Diva, Winston, and Lucio was definitely the pick that they needed. But Delicious with that Earth Shatter, knocking Biso out and Tempest being knocked out. That's very good for Excelsior right now on this push. With 3 minutes.
By the way, Biso was also trying to move to Pele to heal him after that Earth Shatter, but again, that charge comes in from Delicious, and it was a Delicious charge there. And now we're going to see Microsoft Excelsior really winning this battle. 3 kills down, 1 more left to go. That clears out the entire point. And that last one from Pele, which means we have a tie game here on King's Row, and this is impressive enough. Microsoft Excelsior with a much faster push than what Yurp Squad have. They're going to have at least an additional, or sorry, they're just going to have a 25-second differential here between the two teams. And it's going to be your squad with the first try in the attack here in the second round.
Exactly. You know, again, as we said before, this is a much different Microsoft Excelsior than we saw on Ilios, and it does have to come down to, you know, Artie and, you know, as much as we like to talk about it being an off-meta pick, and, you know, I've said this hundreds of times before, I love seeing off-meta picks on teams, especially when it's working out well against a team who isn't really able to counter it as much as they would like. But, you know, Artie showing up with that Roadhog, and it works especially well on that last, you know, stretch on King's Row.
So now 30 seconds left to go. Prepare your defenses, prepare to attack phase. Here we go. Microsoft Excelsior bringing out pretty much the same thing. Its Paul moves on to the Junkrat to try and get some burst damage. Oh, actually, before I speak my mind there, they're going to move on to the... It's Paul, pick something. What do you want, man? Do you want a Junkrat? Do you want a Widowmaker here? He's going to be a little slow to get to the point here, but it's going to be Inspaw on the Junkrat, finally moving out from the spawn point. Yurp Squad, on the other hand, basically sticking with the same, or actually, 3 tags coming out. Pele on the Diva, Pepto on the Zarya, Tempest on the Reinhardt. 2 supports, Kevin and CJC. Biso playing what could be the game changer, the Genji here.
Oh, but Inspaw getting that first pick. And Artie gonna knock out Kevin Supreme. Both healers, or main healer down for Yurp Squad, which is not good for them.
Not good indeed, and this is going to be the push that Yurp squad, or that Microsoft Excelsior does need on the defensive, and it's the first time we've seen them hold this defensive choke so well. And actually, again, Artie coming in with huge hooks here, takes down Kevin Supreme, and that's a huge dagger. Another 10 seconds off the clock for Yurp squad if they want to push with a Mercy.
I was even confused about that. He managed to pull him straight through, right? Kevin thought he was safe behind the shield, but not when you've got the hook on you already. Pepto switching onto the Widowmaker. They're switching off of the triple tank. Biso onto the Tracer, but again, ZJC, DPS Zen all the way.
And by the way, again, player to watch right now is Artie. This Roadhog is insane, grabbing all the hooks. Has hit the last 4 of 4 hooks in this round right now. And again, 5 for 5. Gets Melee in the background here with another one. Arch Shatter gets two people in the background. Kevin Supreme, but CJC's right there to try and heal up his team. And so again, Artie just going off with this Roadhog, takes down Pele. And the sniper from Pepto, not enough, as Red Panda is going to be that sniper that they need for Microsoft Excelsior. And it's going to be the charge coming in here from Tempest. Going to try and see what he can do. Artie's going to, not the whole hog just yet. But Artie coming out with this Roadhog, 6 for 6. Gets CJC, and that might be it for him. And again, Artie bringing out this Roadhog on fire, and for a dang good reason.
And it's really been unfortunate for Yurp squad. Oh, Artie missing that miss. But, again, nothing to scoff at. A lot of hooks. Now we're seeing Yurp squad switching to dive. Really their only, a reaction to the comp that is being thrown at them right now. But they're just doing such a good job at shutting down. Peppo switching to the Reaper. But Microsoft XL has so many ults on the field. It's really going to be hard for them to really mess this up.
Pele gets the self-destruct kill on Itzpaw, so it's looking good for Yurp squad so far. Carboy gets the res on Itzpaw, so more burst damage coming, but now their DPSs are gone. Dragon Strike comes right down the middle before Commander Hui goes down. That's not going to get enough to get any damage going, so Yurp squad has the advantage coming in. Now the Riptire to try and clear the point before Itzpaw goes down. That Riptire is still active, actually that Riptire is not active anymore. It gets shut down by Biso. And that's going to be everybody on the point. Question is, does Microsoft Excelsior want to try and defend this point? That answer is no. Big Ben strikes 4 more times, and overtime is still going to be underway.
And Pepto, again, as we were talking about before, Yurp squad is definitely doing a very smart job when it comes to switching up their comps. Switching to a dive with a Reaper. Again, really odd when you think about it on paper, but in execution, Yurp squad is doing a fantastic job of it, and that's exactly what they needed to shut down both Artie and Delicious, because they are doing such a fantastic job at being this unbreakable wall at the very front of their line and really giving a lot of their healers and DPS time to breathe. Red Panda is doing a fantastic job on that Zenyatta, really showing up, as a defense or as an offensive Zenyatta and trying to give ZJC a run for his money. But right now, it's really going to come down to these inner alt pushes on both sides.
On a very nice shutdown from Pepto, or very nice shutdown from Itzpaw on Pepto before that Death Blossom comes in. Now the Zenyatta is going to bring out the Transcendence from CZHC, try and save some teammates' heals before the res. Kevin Supreme's going to get the res on Pepto, but no more Death Blossom either. But it's still a win for Yurp squad. They're going to push this payload even further. Question is, can they get the second point? No matter who's going to try his best to take out some damage, but again, this ZJC Zenyatta comes out, and it's going to be it. And I think they very may well have the second point here, because I don't think anybody's aggressive enough for Microsoft Excelsior to stop this. 2 points in overtime, by the way, for Yurp squad. They're up 5-3 right now. Pepto's got the kill on Carboy. This may very well be the final fight here, but no, this payload keeps moving.
Delicious was in an odd position right there. He managed to get the charge off, but was stuck alone with the rest of his team. Wasn't able to do anything about it. Now, Microsoft Excelsior is in an awkward position without a main tank. They only have Artie at the front line. Now he's missing his hooks, getting a little nervous as it seems, but they do have ult advantage, even though a lot of Yurp squad is on fire. If they can knock Pepto out and get rid of it and not fall to that that self-destruct, they're in a good position, and they just need to focus down and get these ults out in an orderly manner.
Dragon Strike is right there after the Earth Shatter. Takes down the D-Mac from Pele as well as Kevin Supreme. So no more reses or big heals coming up for Microsoft Excelsior. It's looking good for them right now in the defense. Last person to try it. Pepto is going to try its best to hold onto it. The overtime clock is going to run though as fast as it can. And that will be it. You can't say that wasn't a great round from Yurp squad without stating that that was the best round possible that Yurp squad could have had there. 5 points and a lot of distance for them as well. Microsoft Excelsior has to work.
Exactly. Luckily, they do have, as you said, 25 extra seconds on the clock. That is going to be that is crucial to this first point. And as you've seen, on attack, you're able to push this entire payload through overtime. It's a lot easier, especially because the team on defense has such a worse spawn than you on attack. Once they are able to break down Yurp Squad's defense and push through, capturing the point, I think they'll be in a good position to push through all the way with extra time on the clock. The only problem is the second that the overtime clock kicks in, it is stuck there forever. And the longer, the more times that you step off of it, the faster that it ticks down. So Microsoft Excelsior is really going to have to break down and stick together on this the payload like Yurp Squad was doing, and aggressively push through. And as we're seeing on defense, not much of a change up on comp, as we're seeing Tempest on that main tank, Pele on that Diva, which is working out really well for him. And again, of course, ZJC is on that Zenyatta. Definitely has got to be a point of focus for Microsoft Excelsior, as well as Biso on that Pharah.
And so now we're going to see, again, Yurp Squad, 2 points and 55.56 meters. So this is the chance that Microsoft Excelsior needs to take advantage of. No chance of a tie. They could win it right here. They're already playing aggressive, though, bringing out what they call, 2 supports and 3 tanks already. The same thing that Yurp Squad had to start off in their attack. And it's going to be interesting to see how they pull this off. But right now, Yurp Squad winning the battle. And it's Paul trying to do his best, but right now it's not looking good for Microsoft Excelsior. They're going to have to back up here, and it's going to be the entire 3 people, Pele, Pepto, and ZJC on fire for Yurp Squad right now. Excelsior doesn't have an answer, 2:15 on the clock.
Exactly. Commander Hui trying to be that answer now, switching to the McCree to shut down Biso, as you're talking about. If you're not getting the usage out of the soldier, which it doesn't seem like he was able to before. At least it's Paul was able to. Now we're seeing Commander Hui on the McCree, but shut down by Pepto, and then Red Panda's knocked out. That is 2 picks for Yurp Squad, and that's leaving Excelsior in a bad position.
And it leaves Excelsior in a very bad position as the Transcendence gets played off by CJC, really running in front of Artie. Trying to see what happens there. A little bit of, I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was just disrespect, but ZJC running right in front of Artie with that Transcendence, but it's enough to take down Microsoft Excelsior.
Now we're seeing ZJC in the coveted flanking Zenyatta position, really common in such high-speed Overwatch, but now we're seeing Excelsior pushing the point already. Coalescence being popped out, trying to keep their team alive.
Self-destruct comes in, not going to get anybody around the corner. Delicious is there to put up the shield in time. So it's going to be the battle of wit and strength here. Biso uses that rocket barrage, does get a kill, but not much else. And so it's just a battle here. But Microsoft Excelsior looking good, 3-1 on the point right now. The only one left is Pele, who is going to try and hold off the point as long as possible. The sound barrier being used by Red Panda only on himself and Delicious, but that's just to try and stagger. As the Earth Shatter comes out from Delicious, gets the charge on Tempest, and Pele's going to go down the hands of Delicious as well. ZJC's going to opt to try and hold on to the point as long as possible with the Transcendence, though. So the rest of the team from Yurp Squad is back, and that's going to be their advantage because now they have 5 kills in a row. Carbar, the only one left. Athena calls. Nope, never mind. I thought I called it early. Oh, I thought so, but Delicious is back up just in time. But that may as well be a team kill because Excelsior, the entire team of Excelsior goes down, and it's just another win for Yurp Squad. 30 seconds left to go.
Exactly. That was really good play by Delicious. Just the rest of the team wasn't able to follow up on it, and that's really what lost the point for Microsoft Excelsior. 15 seconds left on the clock. Microsoft Excelsior needs to figure out a response to both ZJC, who was knocked out of the fight, but now Pele has that self-destruct and Kevin has that Valk, who's going to be popping out that very soon.
Self-destruct popping out, by the way. Biso's got 3 kills so far. Not even with the rocket barrage, but has 3 kills before Biso uses it. So it's an advantage for Microsoft Excelsior, or for Yurp Squad so far. Use the Graviton Surge to hold on to it as long as possible, but its power goes down. And it looks like Yurp Squad is going to have themselves the victory. The broom comes out of the closet here. Round 2, Yurp Squad 3-0 over Excelsior.
And I mean, whoo! What we definitely saw in Yurp Squad was like, all right, we're not messing around anymore. Everyone go back to the roles that we knew worked from the beginning. Red Panda, oddly enough, being the Zenyatta who got the play of the game. Not to say anything about their skill, but we were definitely seeing a lot of ZJC on the kill feed. Definitely going to be the trans that kept his team alive right here. Very smart play by your Zenyatta. That's exactly what you want them to do in that position. Wait until that grab is being popped to keep their team alive.
And again, 10,000 healing done, but take a look at how much of it is Transcendence healing. 6,267 health provided, and a lot of that coming from that Dragon Strike Dragon Strike save there basically for his team, and again, great Zenyatta there from their play as well. But we're gonna bring in our producer slash analyst Cajun Wise guy here for the final map here before we wrap it up. So what did you see in that game?
Everybody's been in these team fights where you wish you could have it back. You wish you could have another shot, a timeout, a little bit of a kind of go back and revisit. Microsoft Excelsior had the first point. They had it. They had all the ults. They had everything going in their favor. And what happened? The same mistake that we've seen as a theme throughout tonight's match is they mismanaged their ults. You came in and they had the Dragon Strike go at the same time as the Valk, as the same time as other people were popping off. That's not how you want to layer your defense. That's not how you layer your time, because Europe just kind of backed off a little bit and then they pushed back in. And they lost the first point here. Microsoft Excelsior had King's Row. They had the defense. This was their map to win, and that lack of discipline on the ultimate usage is what cost them. All right, now, Yurp squad, CJC, hands down, to me, was the MVP. He was in there as Zenyatta, making... Not only was he in there healing like a madman, but he was just this oddball flanker coming in from different angles, and Microsoft Excelsior never reacted to him. He'd be in their back line dumping out damage, and it'd be like, and then they'd struggle to respond to him. The McCree would respond, and he'd flash and wouldn't able to get the kill, and CJC would take down the McCree, and then he would take down their Zenyatta. He was just doing a ton of damage as a flanking Zenyatta. I've never seen this before. So CJC, to me, on King's Row for Yurp squad, was the MVP.
And if I may jump in here as well, I do agree that CJC is the best player right now, and it may very well be your MVP. But I would personally, I like to play Roadhog a lot. I would love to give my MVP vote towards Artie, because even if Microsoft Excelsior lost this series 3-0, what we saw on Artie with this Roadhog was so impressive. Getting all the hooks, was 6 for 6 at one point in the beginning of a round, something you usually never see if you're playing a Roadhog like that. But gets 6 for 6 hooks, by the way, and does a lot of damage. And you saw Artie a lot on that kill feed, and that was big for Microsoft Excelsior. It's just they couldn't push through with him. So my MVP vote goes for Artie.
Artie was single-handedly dragging Microsoft Excelsior to defensive points and dragging them over here, and we all kind of were like, Roadhog's a little bit of an odd pick right there, but no, it was great. It's called an OODA loop, and Microsoft Excelsior was just throwing something a little bit of an odd comp at Europe, and they weren't really handling Artie very well. They weren't playing behind the shield. They were exposing themselves to the hook, and more importantly, when Artie did get the hook, he was really he was classic Roadhog, drag him into the middle of the team or drag him off the map, and a ton of value there from Artie. So yes, in the sense that Microsoft Excelsior, yes, Artie to me was their... He was what made this game interesting. He is what brought Microsoft Excelsior up to the point where they could win the match. But they needed a little bit something more.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll have Bryce also throw in his MVP vote as well, because we have Artie on the board. We also have ZJC on the board. Who's your pick?
I mean, throughout that entire series, we were questioning Artie's pick on Roadhog. And, we saw a little bit of it on Ilios. Wasn't really able to get as much value at it, but I gotta side with my boy Clutch on this one. The amount of hooks that I saw connect and were, either part of a environmental kill or he was able to get the, the Roadhog combo off perfectly was really what pushed Microsoft Excelsior forward. That was the momentum builder on their side. And again, Yurp Squad didn't have a response for it. And not only was he playing mechanically well, but a card that we didn't mention, as much as I feel like we should have, was Delicious on that last game had 39,000 damage blocked with that shield. That is an insane amount of damage blocked, and Artie was definitely playing well with that. When you have a Roadhog, you really want to play behind that shield because you can hook someone through it and then pull them all the way through, and then they're stuck behind that shield. They are stuck between, they are stuck between a rock and a hard place, and that is not where you want to be if you are Yurp squad. So I gotta put my vote with Artie on this one too.
All right, so guys, any final thoughts here in a great game? Even if Yurp squad does come out with a 3-0 victory, any final thoughts here?
Yeah, final thoughts. Microsoft Excelsior, focus on your ultimate usage. A little tweak there, and you would have walked away with a win tonight. Yurp squad, you're doing great. I don't think you really need to upset the cart too much. I wouldn't go for on Gibraltar. Be careful about your odd picks on the healers. If you do run with an Ana, just be aware of that. Make sure you have CJC in your back pocket if you're going to run an Ana to kind of make up for that a little bit. But for the most part, Ana's not your go-to healer. So other than that, great series tonight.
And then Bryce, any final thoughts from you?
Really, just to reiterate, one of the points that Cajun brought up was alt management on Microsoft Excelsior. And I know something that works extremely well is either you dedicate 2 people to track both alts on your team and on the other team. And then all you need to do is right before a push starts, whoever's making the shot looks at the alts and says, all right, we have 3 alts. This is what we're going to use. Valk is going to be popped in tandem with the other team's ult, save trans for an earth shatter or a grab, and then really leave it up to, okay, I want Reinhardt to use earth shatter right at the beginning or near the tail end of the fight. And as long as that little bit of communication really goes a long way, and I feel like if Microsoft Excelsior gets that little bit of communication down, they're definitely going to be a team to watch.
All right, well, that about wraps it up here, so let's go ahead and wrap up our production. We thank you for watching this presentation of the Overtime Champions community. This was the Season 5 Division B group stage between Microsoft Excelsior and Yurp squad. Joining us here in the production crew, Quello was our match referee, Cajun Wise Guy, your production/analyst, Bryce T was your caller, and my name is Kluchki on your play-by-play. We'll see you guys in the future. It's Yurp squad that comes out with a sweep. Your Season 4 champions looking good so far in Season 5.
Man, I need those things.